Delighted to have the head of media, Dave Allen from the PDC. How are you?
Hi, Darren. Yeah, I'm keeping well, thanks. Keeping well. It feels a long time since I've seen anybody in the flesh, but no, I'm doing well, and excited by the challenges that we've come through, and obviously what we've got coming up as well.
So regarding all the work, I mean, for those that don't know what you do, we'll probably elaborate on that in the next few minutes. For those that do know what you do, we'll probably be interested to think, well, how are you doing all this from a bedroom? Or are you doing it from the nursery? Are you doing it from the greenhouse? How's it going at home?
Yeah, well, it tends to be between the kitchen and the bedroom, depending on how much peace and quiet I need. But yeah, it's probably 8 to 9 weeks now that I've been at home, and obviously our colleagues at the PDC. There's probably around a dozen of us full-time staff. Regular Zoom meetings. Obviously speaking a lot throughout each day as well, and it's kind of become what they call the new normal now. So we obviously realised pretty quickly in the middle of March how things were progressing and changing, and it's been a big effort from everyone in the PDC. Obviously the home tour is something that has created the headlines, and that's been able to keep over 100 of the tour card holders pretty active. Obviously we know there's players are playing in other online events as well, and doing things to keep themselves active playing. But from our side, we've been kept really busy with the home tour. It's been a huge team effort from everyone within the PDC, but it's been really well received. We've got the last 32 onwards, that starts next week as well. So we've managed to make something pretty positive out of a pretty unprecedented situation, and something that's probably changed a lot as we've gone along. But we've been managing to ride it out so far, and create something for players to do, for fans to watch, and obviously content for people online.
Yeah, well, you're in the entertainment business, I suppose, but talking of being locked in for about 8 weeks or so, you're still married.
Just about. I think that's one of the big things. In over 20 years for me working, full time since I left college back in '99, I don't think I've ever spent as much time at home not working on sports events of one kind or another. So it's been a real different time for me. Something to adjust to actually spending so much time at home, because certainly we were in the midst of the Premier League, and that's every Thursday travelling, somewhere around the country. So it has been something to get used to, and obviously it's been nice spending a lot more time at home, around the family. We've got 2 young boys, so been doing a bit of homeschooling, and it's been good seeing a lot more of them. But yeah, weird not being away on the tournaments as well.
So now you're from Yorkshire originally. Obviously, you're a proud Yorkshireman.
Yep.
And yep. Assuming that are you down in the Essex area somewhere nearer the office?
I am, yeah. So from Leeds originally, but joined the PDC in 2004. First time I'd ever lived outside Leeds, and we gave it 6 months at first to see how it would go, and nearly 16 years later, I'm settled down here. So yeah, the office was Romford at the time, at the old Matchroom office in the centre of Romford when I first started working for the company. So I had the first 6 months or so living in East London, and then the office moved out to Brentwood, to where we're based at Maskell's now, and I ended up moving out to Chelmsford, and I've been based around here ever since. So those first couple of years back then, travelling a lot with Rod Harrington, one of our directors, and Colin Lloyd as well. Colin was world number 1 at the time, and so a lot of the early Premier Leagues, we were travelling to and from those events on the day. So there'd been myself, Rod, and Colin in the car, and when we were going to other events, we might have some of the other local players coming in with us as well. So I think that really helped me to settle down here, and I've ended up settling down in Essex. Live not too far back, probably half an hour from the office now, and it's pretty good. The sun's shining. The kids have been out in the garden, and I'm pretty lucky. Obviously, I know a lot of people at the moment are in.
Work very hard, mate. They work very hard.
People are in difficult situations at the minute, and I'm quite lucky that I work for such a good company. I've got a good family here and a good base, and somewhere we can set the kids free when we need to, when the sun's shining.
Anyway, never mind that. Does Essex have enough Yorkshire tea? That's the main thing.
Just about, yeah. Yeah, yeah. One of the first things, I think, when everyone was panic buying toilet rolls, I was panic buying Yorkshire tea. So yeah, we've gone, obviously as time goes on, we've gone through a couple of boxes of them. But yeah, no, there's plenty of that, and obviously thanks to yourself and Steve, we've got the JDC mug as well. So you know, still gets wheeled out of the cupboard now and again.
Ever the professional. Ever the professional. No, it's quite funny,
Yeah.
actually, just for those that don't know, obviously when you do your darts tournaments, I mean, it's not all glamour. You know, you might get a little back room somewhere and you go into the media area and the first thing you see is a great big bag of Yorkshire tea. So we know you're on duty.
Yeah, no, that's probably one of the executive privileges I have. That I choose the catering options in the press office to look after the media. So yeah, always got the Yorkshire tea on hand. But yeah, no, that's obviously one of the key parts of the role that we've got as well is working with the media, looking after the media that attend the events. So be that providing tea, coffee, providing interviews, looking after their needs. Be it commentators needing information, that kind of thing. So as well as the staging of the events and looking after our kind of media options, there's that side of it as well.
But it's not always been in this situation where you've got like a huge team of all these different people doing different things, whether it's digital or journal, or also it was quite a small team, wasn't it, to begin with when you first started?
Yeah, for many years there were probably only 3 or 4 of us in our head office, and that's grown over the last 5 or 6 years as social media and video has grown. So now there's a team. There's myself, Lewis, Josh, Luke, Jamie. We've got on the commercial and marketing team. We've got Adam and Jimmy,
Yeah.
Haley and Rachel on administration, and then we've also got Graham, our tournament director, and all the tournament officials. Mark Leake, who's our head of production, and he's got a team of the staging crew who actually build the events. So, although there's a kind of dozen or so full-time staff with us working under Matt Potter, our chief executive, actually, working on the events, you've probably got somewhere in the region of 40 to 50 staff when you include security operatives as well as the staging crew and tournament officials that that come in on the day. So, it really has grown, and yeah, my role itself has grown because when I first joined the PDC, there wasn't social media. Back in 2004, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, weren't around then. So, where we started and where we've come to now, and especially the live streaming side of it as well. That's obviously a huge part of the business. Whether it's European Tour events and Players Championships during the normal part of the year, televised events, that go around the world, and then obviously what we've got at the moment with the home tour. That's something that's really exploded in the past decade as well. So yeah, I've been pretty lucky to be in the right place at the right time for that. But yeah, for a lot of years there was just myself there in the press office through till probably around 2013 time. But we obviously had a small team, a small and hard-working team, and even now we all work together. We share the workload out, and so I think probably the home tour's been a great example of that. How everybody's really worked together and mucked in over 32 nights consecutively, and that's been a fantastic effort from the team. What people see on screen, probably doesn't quite reflect the production team that's going on behind it, and that's a credit to the team that we've got and the team at Loop Productions who do that production for us, the team at Stream AMG who obviously get the streaming out there and handle our website in that sense. So it's far more than than just one person now.
So where did it all start, Dave? I mean, I presume you've obviously gone to university or got your degrees in this, that, and t'other. I mean, and then or did you think? I don't know. How did you? Because there could be people, particularly the youngsters. There might be some sort of youngsters just thinking about what the future might hold, and perhaps they're not going to be a dart player, and they think, do you know what? I really love interviewing or journalism. I like writing stories, whatever. How did it start for you? How did you get into all this?
Yeah, well, funny enough, actually, I wasn't a university product, so I'll probably say, in the words of Sid Waddell back in 2010 when Stephen Fry was in the commentary box, Rod Harrington, University of Life, and probably the same as Dave Allen, University of Life as well. But I always loved sport when I was a youngster, and also I had a big feeling for wanting to get into media at that time as well. So this goes back to the mid 90s, and then and actually for the kids out there as well, my schoolwork experience was in the kind of fledgling media department of Leeds Rugby League Club back in 1996. So I went there for a fortnight on work experience, and then managed to carry on working on match days at the club as well. So I was pretty fortunate then. Stuart Duffy was the head of the kind of head of the media department, and Danny Rubin was his assistant, and they kind of took me under their wing, and they've always been great with me, and they were there for a lot of years. Stuart moved on to Bradford Bulls, where he is now. Danny Rubin he worked at Bolton Wanderers, Yorkshire Cricket, and he's now the head of communications for England Cricket. So that the kind of that little school, if you like, has helped to produce some people there within different sports, and somebody else who came through in the late 90s, Phil Daly, is still the Leeds Rugby League media manager as well. But what that gave me the chance to carry on working on match days at the club, so that gave me a start in meeting members of the Rugby League media, and from there I went through college, but I was still, working on match days at Headingley. Yeah. And then as the internet started to bloom in the kind of back end of the 90s, I was doing A-levels at college in Leeds, and I was doing media studies, English and law, with a view to potentially going to university to study, journalism or PR in that sense. And they got a call from a local sports internet company, just looking for people to come and work on weekends. They had a number of football club websites, so it was a case of, because back in those days there wasn't the mobile technology that there is now. Yeah. So the people who actually managed the websites on a weekly basis, they were at the games commentating through the old dial-up internet, and we were sat in their office in Leeds listening to the commentary, updating the website, writing the match reports at the end. And so I was kind of juggling two things there. One was working at Leeds Rugby on match days, and that was a pretty wide range of things, from working the scoreboard, working on the match day radio station, answering the phones, setting up interviews, different things. I'd helped dress Ronnie the Rhino, the big mascot. I was driving him around the pitch on a golf buggy as part of the pre-match entertainment. Pretty wide variation of roles, but it was one of those things where it was right, and my family encouraged me to go and get experience doing it. So it wasn't something I was doing for the money. I was doing it for the experience of being 15, 16, 17, working in that sports environment. I'd always supported the club anyway, so it was a bit of a dream to do that. Then I found myself through college also working, learning as a football reporter on weekends, and that led in the summer of '99. I was considering my options with regards to university and what to do there, and they decided that they were going to launch a football news website. So I got offered a job as a junior football news reporter at planetfootball.com then. Within 18 months of that launching at the back end of '99, we've been bought by Sky, so we ended up being a kind of northern outpost of Sky's online offering. And off the back of that they also had then a contract with the PDC to run what was then the Planet Darts website. So and they got a contract with the Super League. So I ended up working as the Super League website's editor from 2001 to 2004. And then during the off season, I'd cover odd bits of darts when I wasn't doing the rugby league. So during the PDC World Championship, Gail, the media manager at the time, she obviously couldn't do everything. So I ended up doing some shifts, reporting on the PDC World Championship for the website, and that then obviously was then the kind of contact I had with the PDC that led in 2004 to working at the World Match Play, and then being offered a job full time with them. So very much I hold my hands up, I'm very much in the right place at the right time with things. But hopefully with a bit of hard work in there along the way, I've been able to make it work and make it successful for me. And like I say, I've been able to get by in life so far without needing the university degree, but being able to learn new skills as we go.
Well, that's refreshing for those that perhaps don't have the opportunity. Likewise, never been to university, and it shows.
The same here, but like I say, certainly from when I was 15, 16, carry on working and getting the experience. It didn't matter whether I was getting paid or what I was getting paid. It wasn't a lot for working at Leeds Rugby back in the day, but you know, that experience, I got a foot in the door there, learned a lot of people who had experience, and you know, made some contacts that, you know, I'm still in touch with today. So you know, for the youngsters out there, you know, sometimes getting that experience under your belt and, you know, and learning on the job is actually you know, as beneficial and, you know, worth as much as actually the financial rewards.
You mentioned obviously Leeds Rhinos is a big part of your life. You must be missing the sport of other sports like us all. It's,
Yeah, I suppose it's times like this where you realise that you like to have, you know, some sort of passion like that to, you know, as a distraction away from, you know, you
yeah,
know, whether it's a distraction away from your job or, you know, the people who can actually go to the games. You know, obviously being based down here, it's harder to get to Leeds United or Leeds Rhinos games, but you know, the people who, so a big part of their week is, you know, going to meet their friends and go to the games. You know, that side of it. You know, it is something that I think we're all lucky, you know, whether it's, you know, people's passion is sport or music or theatre, you know, that kind of thing, where actually if you've got something to focus on away from the day to day, it is good for you. So yeah, you do realise during this period how much you miss it. And, you know, even there's going to be some behind closed doors rugby league from Australia this time, coming back this time next week. So, you know, the fact that all of that's on Sky is something to look forward to, despite the fact it's, you know, behind closed doors and it's, you know, 12,000 miles away on the other side of the earth.
yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a way of escaping your sort of we'll say 9 to 5, but we don't work 9 to 5, obviously. But you know, it's a bit of escapism, and I'm sure everybody listening to this is probably gagging to watch some football or some rugby or some tennis or whatever.
Or even some, you know, darts. You know,
Yeah,
obviously
well,
we're lucky enough to work in the business, but you know, for a lot of people who come and attend our events, you know, coming to the darts is something that they might, you know, they've probably bought a ticket 6 months beforehand for a Premier League night or for the World Championship. You know, it might be their, say they come to the World Championship, that might be their Christmas day out. You know, they spend a long time planning the fancy dress, travel, hotels in London. You know, it means a lot to a lot of people to come to our events as well. And, you know, that might be their escape. That might be the one trip that they
yeah.
have. So, you know, it's something that we're always conscious of as well.
Yeah, no, we get a lot of that on the tour. You know, the youngsters get to go away for the night with the parents or the dad or mum or whatever it is, and you know, it's not just about those few hours that they're actually playing. It's the build up, the travel, staying over, grabbing a pizza, whatever it is, you know, that makes the whole event. So when you were back, did you do a lot of interviewing of individuals and sports stars and stuff like that? I mean, is there anybody in particular that, if I was to say to you, is there one person on the planet, or maybe unfortunately not on the planet, that you'd have loved to have had a couple of minutes with to interview? Is there any particular person in the sporting world, or maybe not the sporting world, that you would have thought, God, I'd just love a couple of minutes with that one?
Yeah, well, probably as I've got more and more into the darts, probably Jockey Wilson. You know, I'm so lucky to, you know, through the last 15 years to work with, you know, so many great darts players, and you know, everyone in the PDC throughout my time has been, you know, great to work with and really welcoming. But you know, unfortunately, Jockey, you know, I came around after he'd retired and never got the chance to meet him. So I think probably out of anybody, because you look at the achievements that he had, you know, two-time world champion back in the 80s when it was such a competitive era, but you know, the life he led as well. And you know, I think he would have been a great character to have met and interviewed. So probably him. But yeah, no, I'm really lucky that, you know, from my early days, you know, I think you know, one of the first people I interviewed after I took the full-time job in football back in '99 was Kevin Keegan when he was England manager. You know, and that was one where I was working for Coventry City's website down at Bradford City, and Kevin Keegan appeared in the stand 10 minutes before kick-off because I think Steve Froggatt at Coventry had just been called into the England squad, and Magnus Hedman, the goalkeeper, was playing for Sweden, and England were playing Sweden the next week, and he was there to watch them both. And I just kind of trotted over and, you know, asked him for an interview, and all of a sudden I'm interviewing, you know, the England football manager. You know, probably you couldn't even get that close to them nowadays, but you know, so you know, I'm really lucky in that sense. Obviously, through my rugby league career, interviewed, you know, some fantastic characters there, and then into the darts as well. You know, obviously for a lot of years before passing the baton on to the team that we've got now. I did a lot of the video interviewing as well myself, so managed to share some great moments with the players, and interviewing players after they've won is always a kind of a great joy. The contrast being obviously when sometimes you have to wheel out players who've just lost in something like the World Championship, and their whole year's been kind of turned on that moment. So that's always a hard one. But yeah, no, I'm very fortunate during my time to have spoken to a lot of players. I think our YouTube channel back in the day has got a lot of those interviews as well, and it's been a real joy.
Good. Well, you say you've been very fortunate, Dave. We've been very fortunate to have you as well, and have time. I'm sensing you've got family around you, I'm sure, and work to do. So we do appreciate you just giving us 10, 15 minutes of your time. The sport, I know personally as well, is very fortunate to have you, because I've seen you in action. I've seen how you work with the players, how you respect the players, how you respect your team, and how it's all organised, like a well-oiled machine. And I can't wait to see maybe one day a youngster that's come through maybe our ranks or something and has a little bit of experience with you, and maybe go on to be successful in the world of media as well. So it's been an absolute pleasure. And
thanks, Darren. Thanks, and
seeing you in
as
the
well.
flesh.
But from your side as well, it's great to see the work the JDC are doing. I'm lucky that I was around when Steve first started his academies. Probably around a decade ago, and and being able to support that and support what you guys are doing is really good. Really good. And now as well, we're seeing not just even the green shoots of that. We're starting to see the flowers blooming. Seeing people like Bradley Brooks stepping up and winning a tour card and then winning it back this year. Other players. People like Keane Barry, Keelan Kay. Leighton Bennett's obviously got a lot of headlines, but these are young players with a lot of talent that hopefully I'm going to get to work with for a lot of years. But they're obviously people who are coming through your system there, and certainly Bradley Brooks. It's been great to see the last couple of years how he's progressing, and exciting now that he's got the rest of this year, 2021 as well, with his tour card there to hopefully keep pushing on. And I can't wait for one day that potentially those players are up challenging for the major honours as well. So it's obviously been a pleasure to work with you guys, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Yes, likewise, team effort.
Yep. Quite literally, team effort.
That's it. I've got a PDC mug. Love to get a PDC mug. Thanks, Dave. Take care, mate.
Thanks, Darren. Cheers.